Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? I cannot get over two things. A, how everything now sounds while I'm wearing these earphones, these new ones. And also how my own voice sounds when I'm speaking while wearing these earphones, because it is completely different. It's really strange. Don't come to Iceland, it's raining. I flew there yesterday. I did the same route yesterday to make sure it would fucking work, and yeah, it was raining there too. It was actually kind of awesome. I think Twitch is trolling me slightly right now because it says I have 2 viewers. I'm pretty sure there's more than 2 people in the chat right now. Mungo, hello. Welcome aboard. I almost said hello to Nightbot there. That's how fucking out of it I am right now. Felix448, welcome aboard. Skipjack, Corey Moen, Cyrix, Rebane, Miss Copilot, Wildeville, Hybrid Winterwolf, A1 Rager, etc, etc. And for those of you who are just lurking, like Django always does, fucking hell, welcome aboard. Prop Forward, Matt R. Boy, Chaos Dispenser, of course. I can't forget Chaos Dispenser. Azure. Oh, now everyone pipes up. Aegis Zone 979. Yeah, clearly we have 2 viewers here, clearly. Oh, no, it's finally updated to 36 now. Okay, there we go. Fucking hell. Twitch. Get your shit together. But you won't be able to start the engines this time. It's a distinct possibility. I think I've done the summoning ritual for the Olympus 593s correctly this time. 9535. Fucking, I can't even remember. 593, yeah, I was right the first time. I think I've done the summoning ritual correctly this time, so they should hopefully start. But if they don't, then fuck it. I will reload the aircraft. Give it another go, and if it doesn't work on the second try, then we'll go do something else. So we shall give this a go. We shall offer up a prayer to the Concorde gods, and see if we can actually get this to move. So, 3, 2, 1. Hello! I hope it's working. Is it working? It is, yes. Okay. I apologise in advance, okay, for looking like utter shit. I normally do anyway, but I mean more so than usual. Because I have basically spent this last week with almost no sleep on account of an epic toothache, which is actually right now coming back. I need to go get some more painkillers soon. Epic toothache, plus my brother who lives up in Sunderland normally has the flu, and my father has hurt his back. So it's been a busy week for me. And I haven't had a lot of sleep, so I actually look like I'm fucking on drugs right now. And I sort of feel like it too. So, yeah. Oh, and I haven't even had a chance to fucking trim the beard either. So I've got fucking 5 o'clock shadow all over the fucking place. This is too long. It's a mess. I'm really sorry. Never mind. Anyway. Is the chat the correct fucking size for once? No, it isn't. Get up there, you bastard. I don't know what it is with that plugin, but it just constantly trolls me every time I reset OBS. The fucking thing moves. Anyway, never mind. Welcome to Concorde. Welcome to the beast. Let's see if we can get it moving, shall we? My flight plan and all that sort of shit is already filed. I am connected to VATSIM. We will give departing from Heathrow with full control in Concorde a go. Should it be a laugh? Hopefully I can fly the departure correctly. That's the main bit I'm worried about, honestly. Once we're en route to Compton, we're in easy mode, effectively, but it's the first bit that's always tricky. So that's the annoying bit. I have the ADEU cards ready to go, so and none of that kind of bullshit, and the fuel planning is also done. So really, we're sorted as far as that is concerned. I will have to do one or two things here. First of all, FS Labs. Aircraft fuel. We want 60 tons of fuel. That is enough to get us there, plus about 20 tons of reserve. So, as you can see, not the most economical... fuel economical... Not sure where I'm going with this sentence, but anyway, it's not... It burns a lot of fucking fuel, alright? There's Concorde. So, 60 tons just to get us to Iceland. That's pretty crazy. So, anyway... Aircraft load default is fine. Fuel load. Dunsies. Let's see, what else do we need here? We need ground power. We need ground air, and just for good measure, repair. I don't think anything's broken, but you never know. How would you rate the overall performance, VAS/FPS? Is it comparable to one of the popular add-ons? Pretty much, yeah. Honestly. Some people have had real issues with it, eating up huge amounts of VAS on account of the fact that it has lots of pop-up panels. Not really had that issue myself, but that just could be due to the other add-ons I run. So, I mean... Oh, by the way, the audio setup for this entire stream and probably all subsequent streams is going to be totally screwed up because the new headphones do not have an audio control on them. There's nothing here to control the audio with. Which means that I've had to completely alter all of the audio for everything on my computer to work, and it's really a work in progress, so... I don't know if things are going to be too loud or too quiet or what. I haven't a clue. But anyway, I'm getting 73% VAS right now at Heathrow, Aerosoft Heathrow in the Concorde, just sat here. So, not brilliant, but not terrible either, so... Queen of the Silence, hello. Pazza, hello. Can we put your dignity between wall and engineer's panel while on the cruise? Fucking hilarious. Come on, just yeah, you and your sexual fantasies, Miss Co-Pilot. Just keep it in your pants, all right? Jesus. You always imagine the YouTubers and streamers you watch to be younger than they actually are. Really? That's interesting, because I quite often imagine people to be way older than they actually are. Like, Broadsword and Spud over at ACG, they sound fucking ancient, but when you actually meet them, they're not. And the same goes for Jack over at FlyJSim. He sounds like he's in his fucking 70s, but he's actually not. And Atreides, now I think about it, he sounds like he's in his 50s at the very least, but he's younger than I am. Anyway, I do love this music, but it probably should shut up and go away.
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
Thank you for the follow, whoever that was. Seemed quite loud at my end, that Twitch alert there. Not sure how well that bodes, to be honest. Yeah, audio setup's going to need some fine-tuning. How old is this add-on? Pretty fucking old, I think. If I'm not mistaken. You Found Me 109 is following. Thank you for the follow, You Found Me 109. I did indeed find you. Because you popped up on the other side here. Anyway. I fucking love this mix. It's like 5 minutes long, and it's every inch of it is awesome, but it needs to go away. Sorry. Right. Okay, so let's get the preliminary... I shall start again. Let's get the preliminary shit out of the way, and then we'll call up for clearance. External power is now on. There's the beeping thing over there you can silence with this button. Concorde loves to beep at you. A lot. It's like the fucking tornado, it just beeps at you all the time. You can silence it with that. Alternatively, there is a keyboard shortcut which is Control-Shift-Z, which I recently learned about, which silences the thing, which is good. So anyway, we got ground power in. Air data computers can go on. Transponder can stay on standby for now. Radios I'll worry about in a minute. Let's go up here. The flight control inverters can both go on. The anti-stall system can be switched on. Throttle masters can go to main. Auto throttles can come on. Fasten seatbelts, no smoking. Speaking of, we can get catering. GSX amazingly does work with the Concorde. It works incredibly well, as a matter of fact. And the boarding can be queued up as well. Shut your face, Concorde. It will either get off the ground or it won't, basically. If we can get Concorde off the ground, we are good. If not, then we'll just be stuck here. That's the chief problem. The chief problem with this plane is getting the engines going. And in the process, not fucking up the instrumentation. Because if you get the panel states and shit wrong, like if you try and reload the plane without reloading the sim and stuff like that, you'll break your flight directors, your artificial horizons. In fact, that one over there is looking a bit funky. So that worries me slightly, but... The fucking your VOR radios will not work for mysterious reasons. All sorts of bonkers shit can go wrong with this plane if you don't do everything exactly the way you're supposed to. It's actually quite infuriating. Like fucking like 6 out of 8 flights I do in Concorde end up with me not actually taking off because the fucking thing is broken. So anyway, the INS needs to come on now. So you can go to standby. You can go to standby, you can go to standby. And very good. You're all on the aligning screens already. So let's go ahead and enter our present position into each one by right-clicking here instead of typing it all in the CDUs, because who the fuck wants to do that? There we go. And then we can all set you to align. Like so. Now we're going to open up the 2D top left CDU. Let's get rid of the error messages. They're just basically telling me that the last time you flew Concorde, mate, you were in fucking Iceland. What are you doing down here in London? I'm confused. And then you can just mash the test button to tell it to shut up, because it's all fine. Anyway, we can open the little root loader click spot here. And we're looking for BIKF to EGL... No, we're not. EGLL to BIKF 1. And before we load it, you all need to be put into remote mode. Load. Reading the cards, it's reading the cards, it's reading the cards, it's going to tell us our fortune. No, it's not, it's going to load the route. Okay. So, just to verify this has worked, we'll flip over to waypoint. And we have waypoints. And you, sir, we have waypoints. And what about you, sir? We have waypoints. Okay, good. It would display a bunch of zeros if we didn't have any other waypoints in there. So, right. Anyway, for some reason the lights were turned up on this unit and not the others. Anyway, which means we can bring you back to that. We can turn off remote on all of you now that the route is loaded in, and that's pretty much it for the INS. We'll just let it do its thing, and we could effectively, as soon as these things align, we could right now start up and go. We've basically done everything we needed to do at this stage. Really, the next thing that happens is the engines get started. So, but in the meantime, I will do a bit of departure prepping and stuff of that nature. Give you guys a bit of a external view while I do this. There you go, good old Gate Gourmet is providing us with our caviar and champagne for today. You presume this thing has an autopilot? Yes, it does. It's a little on the basic side, but it does have one. That said, I will probably hand fly a fair bit of this departure, since it's just easier. It is one of those planes whose autopilot is, in fact, so awkward that it is easier to just hand fly sometimes, on occasion. Handy they included manuals inside the cockpit. Well, it's actually illegal to fly any aircraft without the manual on board, so yeah, the manuals are there. Pretty colours on the buttons. Gonna take your colouring pens to customise the office next time. Hello, Memos. How you doing, man? How's things over in the world of the E-Jet? Let's see. Beepity beep beep. Close right forward cabin door. You say so. shortcut for this, if you don't want to use the awkward key shortcuts, if you just go to the door lights here, you right-click on one of them, it'll close the door. I didn't know that until fairly recently, but there it is. And the catering truck is going to be on his way. Yeah, autopilots are technically ancient technology. So, if we take a look at a ground shot, yeah, you will observe we are over here at Terminal 4 somewhere. In fact, we're right there. I don't know what the runways are being what the runways in use right now are at Heathrow or anything like that. We can check the ATIS for that though, so that's not a problem. We are over here at Terminal 4 currently. Our taxi is gonna, well, yeah, who knows? Who fucking knows? I need to find out. I need to look at the ATIS, but that's where we are right now. Our departure, well, we're going to Compton. We're routing into Compton, so it's going to be any of these ones here that leads over to Compton here. So we'll be either shooting off like that or like that. This is my favourite one here, the 4 Kilo or 5 Juliet, because it's literally just, you get to XYZ DME from London via WAR, and then you just do a big old right turn onto the Compton radial. And that's it. That's basically just the departure done completely. It's really good, because it means you get to do a fun hand-flown climbing right turn even, not left turn. So that's what we're looking at. I'm going to go ahead and grab the ATIS information. Where is VPilot? Where have you gone? There you are. Right. Do we still have controllers? Do we? Oh, do we? Fuck. Fucking saw me coming, didn't they? Didn't they? Let me just double check this with that spy, but I do believe. Yep, everyone at Heathrow is officially buggered off. We do have London Control, EGTT, India Centre. What the fuck's I Centre? What did they control? I have no idea. I need to go on the VAT UK website and check it out, because I'm officially confused. Let's see. Area sectors, here we go. North, Central, South, West. What the fuck is I Centre? Not even on here. Help! Help! Mongo, somebody. Who is EGTT in I Centre? I genuinely don't know. VFR only for EGTT Iceland. Is that? Oh, is that so? Fair enough. So I guess we're not talking to anyone. They are the flight information service that peeps handle uncontrolled airspace. I see. So if we were flying somewhere VFR and we wanted whatever the UK equivalent of flight following is, I forget, we'd be talking to him. Otherwise, we don't give a shit. Well, that's fine. London information. Ah, cheers, cheers, cheers. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. It's funny, really, but I am just not familiar at all with the way VATSIM UK run their shit. I just don't. Like, I'm fairly fuzzy when it comes to UK airspace rules and stuff in general to begin with, so I learned it all the American way. So, yeah. I'm sure that's done plenty of damage in the long run, but whatever. Baggage trucks are on their way. So, that means I'm going to have to rely on something else for my weather. Okay, let's try Active Sky. Let's tune you to 1228 for now. Man, I'm gutted about that. It was full control not 15 minutes ago, and now it's just all disappeared.
Echo Golf Lima, Lima, Echo, Golf, Lima, Lima,
Right.
Airport information, Foxtrot 1850, Zulu, weather, wind 178 at 6, visibility 10, sky clear, temperature 17, dew point 13, QNH 1018, advise on initial contact, you have information, Foxtrot, Echo, Golf, Lima,
Alright, I get the point. Mr. 8 man. Okay, so we got info Foxtrot, wind is 178 at 6. What runway are we taking off 178 at 6? Well, it would be the 09s, wouldn't it? So, what are they using in the real world right now? That's a better question. Flight radar 24, let's go. Doobity-doo-doo-doo. In Heathrow right now, they are using... Looks like possibly 09 right? Oh my god. That alert is so much louder with these headphones. My audio is completely fucked, I imagine.
Lemon juice, tea, honey, whiskey. The cure all you need. If you crash, blame it on the exhaustion.
Very good. Thank you, Chaos. You are, as usual, apparently outrageously generous. Thanks, dude. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Really, really, really appreciate it. More than you probably know. So, anyway...
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
I can't believe it. It's like I have bass for the first time ever. These things are amazing. These, if you're curious, these are a pair of Grado SR80s. They're the like what Cat Strader has got. They were recommended by him, and I'm glad I followed his recommendation because holy fuck, these things are good. Anyway, wants me to close the doors. That's okay. We can do that. There we go. Doors are getting closed. Northampton Town have equalised against Manchester United. Fucking hell, I haven't followed the Cobblers for ages, but that is pretty funny. Right, takeoff data. London Heathrow. I think we're going to be going off 09 right, since that it seems to be what they're using in the real world right now. It is indeed.
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
So slightly longer taxi than I was potentially hoping for, but that's okay. So 09 right. Taxi time, we'll call it 15 minutes. Takeoff form, send that data to the plane, and basically that will set all of my bugs and things everywhere here as they need to be for taking off at Heathrow, which is lovely. Bit of a nice shortcut. So, don't know what I'm going to do about taking off back out of Reykjavik if we do, but never mind. Alright, so just last couple of things we need to do. We need to tune London 113.6 there. And on nav 1 we need to tune Compton on 114.35. Job's a good un. And just for good measure as well, Woodley NDB, which is 352. Come on. There we go, 352. Lovely. I'll put in a squawk code of 2200. For now, since we aren't going to get one. INSs are still aligning. They're nearly done. They are nearly done. Meanwhile, over here we can go flight director. We can do heading hold, pitch hold. That is fine. Although we do want to arm 6000. I must always remember to hit altitude acquire. It's like being the fucking Dash 8. Always hit altitude acquire after you do everything. Because it will get cancelled by any other mode changes on the autopilot, so... Auto throttle... I don't know whether or not I will use this for the departure, however, I'm going to set auto throttle for 240 knots. And I'll set the speed reference bug to 240 knots as well. There we go. And my sim is lagging like a champion for really no good reason whatsoever. I suspect EasyDock is the culprit. I'm going to therefore kill EasyDock. with fire and restart it. Easy Dock and this plane do not get along, like really do not get along for some reason. Which is why I'm kind of hoping that new thing from VFX, or whatever they're called, can, you know, replace it. Because Easy Dock is a pile of crap. It truly is, it's rubbish. So, there we go. Yep, and no more lag. I suspected as much. Anyway. What have you... Munga, what have you fucking done? This is the last time I allow you to complain about me never updating the commands. It simply will not do. Right, anyway. This is set to radio. All the transfer display switches are on the left-hand side here. I could run through a checklist, or two. Let's give it a go. Let me scroll back up to the top. Okay, safety checklist, who cares?
Monkeys to fly better than
Preliminary cockpit checklist, and after actually having immediately loaded this up, I forgot one thing. The batteries, there we go. Okay, now it's done. Ground power is on, air data computers are on, drain mast heaters are checked and set, INS 123, align, test present position, load route, blah blah blah. Transponder is set before start checklist. Windows are closed, flight control inverters are on, anti-stall systems are on, RAD INS switches are set to RAD, instrument transfer switches are set, QNH AA altimeters 1018 is what we want. So altimeters are now set. Nav radios are set, AFCS is set and primed, ADF is set, brakes, parking brakes are on, nav lights are as required, throttle masters are on main, ground hydraulics are yellow, yellow and off. Batteries are on. INS 123 are, you know, we've checked that they are loaded and they are aligning. They will need to go to nav mode. In fact, we can do that right now. We can set them to nav mode immediately. As you can see, the green lights come on. So, okay, INS system is set to nav. Very important you do that before you start moving. ASI bugs, pitch index, and reheat placard are all set, thanks to the wonderful little program I just ran. Fuel flow is set, P7 bugs is set. The clock is set for 58 seconds on the countdown. The TLA bugs are set, the seatbelt signs are on. Emergency lights are armed, and the doors are being shut as we speak. Okay, start clearance from ATC. We didn't have any fucking ATC, so it hardly matters, but let's see. Door lights are checked. Yep. They are sorted. Master warning, recall. That's all the shit that we already knew about. Let's just go ahead and inhibit all. Anti-collision lights now coming on. Throttles are set to idle. Yes, they are. Sometimes they're not. Worth checking. Flight deck door is now locked. And clearance to start from ground crew. We will now obtain. Prepare for pushback and departure. Direction, nose... where the fuck are we? Nose left. No, do not start engines before pushback. We actually will, but not the way GSX means. So we're going to get moving now. Concorde does not have an APU. It was deemed too fucking heavy for an aircraft that needed to be as light as possible to actually do what it needs to do. So what will actually happen is, I don't think you can see the message at the top of the screen because it's cropped off, but GSX has got the tow in position with the parking brakes on, and it is now going to wait for us to start engines number 2 and number 3. Because we will do those, disconnect ground power, and then push back with engines 2 and 3 already running. So that is exactly what we're going to do. We'll go down here, we'll set the debo switches all on. And number 3, this is the moment of truth. Basically, this plane, if you fuck something up in the startup, or you load the wrong panel state or something like that, the engines will not start. They won't catch light. You can put the starter motor in, the N2 will get up to about 10-15%, and nothing will happen if you hit the fuel switches. So, yeah, fingers fucking crossed here that this is actually going to work. So we'll start number 3. N2 is rising about 10%. We can put in fuel. 10%. It made the sound, which means we're okay. So, yep, there we go. Engine number 3 is coming up nicely. Hurrah. And the shaders always wig out on this as well when you go to the external view, for some reason. Engines. How amazing would this look if you had X-Plane style exhaust sort of wibbly wobbly effects? That would be so cool. The heat haze at the back. But anyway. Okay, engine 3 is good. The debo switch can come off because the aircraft is in a cold and, well, started off in a cold and dark state and isn't on the turnaround. The debo switch you leave on for I think like a minute and a half or something if the engines have already been running within like the last 4 hours or something. We can now start engine. Thank you for that. GBWS coming alive. Engine 2. Again, keep me advised as to what the audio levels and shit are like, guys. Do not feel afraid to yell at me if something is too loud or too quiet, because it's all in a process of being completely redone at the minute. That's good. Fuel goes in. Yeah, the engines are a bit loud, a bit quiet even from the cockpit, actually. That's reasonably normal, but you should be able to hear them out here right now, yeah? You will definitely hear them on takeoff, I can almost assure you of that, but you should be able to hear them hissing away. Release parking brakes. So while we're getting pushed back, we can't start engines 1 and 4 until we've been pushed back. I'm going to scoot on over to the ground shot again and I will show you our taxi route. We're down here on Victor, that's what we're pushing back onto right now, so we'll cross runway 27 left at Sierra 3, go right across here, and taxi up on Lima, I guess? Or would you use Bravo in this instance? I genuinely am not sure, to be honest. We'll go via Lima though, and then take a right on Alpha, and then we'll go on Alpha 3 and then line up at the very end there, so we've got plenty of room. That's the general plan. Did I say we were using 09 right? Because that's wrong. We're using 27 right. I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway, that's the idea. I'm not intimate enough with Heathrow's workings to know which taxi route we should take. I can just tell you which one we're going to. I'm not a fucking Heathrow rated VATSIM controller at the end of the day. I would love to have a go at VATSIM controlling, of course, but the fucking waiting list for VAT UK is apparently months and months long. So it's sort of like, well, oh my god. Is there any point in even bothering? Parking brake is set. Once these guys are clear, we can start up 1 and 4. In the meantime, I can pre-configure the bleeds to do it, actually. So bleed valves are all opening, and the cross bleeds are coming on, because it will be a cross bleed start, obviously, since we don't have an APU. Traders looking good. Yeah, they are actually. I'm quite pleased with them so far. I've done a bit more tweaking. I'm liking the way it looks at the minute. Still a work in progress though. It's never not a work in progress really with PTA, but oh well. You applied in Easter and only just got started in your ground training. Yeah, basically. Okay, look, it sounds like these guys are clear. Can't actually fucking see though. Oh, hang on. No. Yeah, there goes the toe. Alright. So, back down here. Number 4. Off you go. Yeah, there we go. Right, left and right are clear. 7, 8, 9, 10. Uh-oh. Oh shit, I know what the problem is. Stand by. Stand by, stand by, stand by. Generators. There we go. At least I hope that's the problem. We shall fucking find out. Right, let's start. Number 4 again. Always forget the generators. I don't know what that thump was. Didn't sound particularly good, but we seem to be okay. It's starting. It sounded like a compressor stall, if I'm honest, but whatever. I'm not sure how you would manage that from resetting the lever there, but because as far as the plane was concerned, the lever was off, even though it was on the on positions. Whatever. I believe I've got failures turned off, so we should be fine. I'm to Dave Cam. Oh shit, sorry, look, wrong there. Keyboard shortcut. I'm getting used to that. Alt 1 is assigned to the old screen, which you can see here with the fucking info bar in the bottom left, which is what you guys were all complaining about, I suddenly realise. And then Alt 4 is the new Dave Cam layout. So
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
you can teach monkeys to manage overlays better than that, I'll say that much. Right, engine 1 is looking good. T-bow switch is coming off. Well, it's going to normal anyway. Spooling up quite nicely. So that means we can get on and worry about other stuff. So the cross bleeds can be now shut. The conditioner valves can come on. Hydraulics can now be pressurized. We'll get some dings from Concorde as a result of that. Brake fans on. What else? Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Shut up. All of the artificial feel and electric trim jobbies can now come on. Clear that mechanical jam light. The controls are now mechanical. We can check that they work. And they do. They're moving quite slowly, but that's because they're in mechanical mode. So you're basically just using mechanical trimmers to move everything around. We can set them into the green hydraulic system. Check the green hydraulic system is working. And it is. The rudder always moves really slowly, mind you, so that's normal. We can finally switch it over to the blue system. Check that the blue system is working as well, and it is. Good stuff. Windshield de-ice is on low, visor de-ice, demist can come on. Whatever, I don't know, do you switch them on by default, or... I don't know, probably only if you're expecting icing conditions, I imagine. Anyway, so, the pitot static heaters can come on, the drain mast heaters can come on, the ADS engine probe heaters can go to takeoff inhibit and on. Not getting any lights up there on the overhead for some reason. You're supposed to get some lights up there, but I don't know why they're not appearing. Whatever. Okay, we're pretty much ready to taxi now, I think. Let's just have another look at the checklist. Idle switches, that's the other thing over here. Idle switches go to high. Actually, no, I think they go back to low now we've started them up. So apparently you could start the engines with the engine idle switches in the wrong position. Fuck it. This switch over here, which controls the engine 4 takeoff engine 1 limiter, goes to 80%, 88%, because if you allow engine 4 to run at full takeoff power, the vibrations it causes will do a bit of damage. Engine control schedule goes to flyover, because we're doing noise abatement on our departure. Okay, so idle switches are sorted. Engine debo switches, generator switches, blah 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 blah. High pressure valves, blah 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 blah. This is all stuff we've already done. After start checklist, nose wheel steering checked, flight control AFCS and trims are checked, AFCS is checked, trims checked, blah blah blah. Stab and feel are engaged. Idle switches are low. Engine anti-ice and engine schedule are as required. Door warnings are tested and off. Hydraulics are checked. Hydraulics are normal. Electrics checked. Ground bypass needs to come on, apparently. Never had to use that before, actually, but apparently we should. Ground equipment is clear. After start checklist is complete. Taxi checklist. The visor can finally come down, and the nose down 5 degrees. That's the cool bit. That's the party piece. Landing, taxi, turn off lights, blah blah blah. Okay, so taxi light can come on and be extended. The turn off lights can go on as well. Brakes checked, blah blah blah. As you can see, they are working. Flight instruments checked, flight controls checked, anti-skid, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. It's all checked, it all works, it's fine. Let's get moving. Miss Co-Pilot, I will not tolerate that sort of talk right here. I absolutely will not. I get my tracker on as well, actually, while we're doing all this taxiing bollocks. Silly baseball cap has to come on. No, I don't wear this thing in public. Teletubby antenna is a go. And we can now move our head around to see the world. Such advanced technology. Alright. To really get a V-pilot up somewhere I can see it. We do appear to be clear on the approach. This is the landing runway right now, so it's sort of, we need to be careful about that, but it looks like we're good. Yeah, I know, it's a fucking ridiculous hat. I didn't buy it, obviously, it was bought for me as a gift.
Thanks awfully, old chap.
Stop the press. There is a face to the humor, you sexy son of a bitch. Take us to Iceland, Captain. Bullet train.
Who was that, I wonder? F.O. Gibbs. Is that first officer or fuck off? You be the judge. Anyway, welcome aboard, thanks. Yeah, I have a feeling we should have taken Bravo over there instead, but fuck it! Concorde's coming through. The other thing I haven't done is I haven't set up this.
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
Course on nav 1 needs to be 282. No it doesn't. Shit. Hold on. We're doing a different departure to the one I thought I was doing. I've just realised. Okay, we're going to take off on a heading of 271 degrees. Oh, dear me. Okay, I need to reconfigure all of the radios. We'll worry about that in a minute when we get to the hold. I should have just taken off a 09 right. Save myself the trouble. Oh well. I don't think there's anyone else here, really, is there?
You can teach
Heathrow, this quiet.
monkeys to fly better than that.
What is going on? Must be an ambush. Never this quiet at Heathrow. Medical Duke. Medical Duke. You know what? Amnesty. Amnesty time. From this point forward, Mungo, you have my permission to time out anyone who says anything bad about Concorde. You will leave old Pointy alone. Right, we'll hold here and I will reconfigure the fucking nav radios because we're going off in the opposite direction to what we were previously. Get the lights on and extended, ready to go. We'll go to TARA down here, if only because I want to get my TCAS up and running. I'm not sure if the fucking TCAS works on this plane, if I'm totally honest with you. But who knows? Maybe we'll find out. Okay, brakes on. So I'm gonna need to swap these two over, I think, to begin with at least, unless I can just. No, I don't think that's going to work for me. Okay, so instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to pause track IR and whiz you guys over to this screen. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to take off here, heading of 271 to begin with. And then at 3 miles from London, well, actually, not even that. No, we just take off and immediately intercept the London 257 radial. So let's tune London on the nav 1 instead. So 113.6. So we take off, intercept that radial straight away, fly straight towards Burnham, which is 421. Let's see. 421. So, oh god, right, yeah. And then, once we pass Burnham, we turn right on a heading of 270, and proceed direct to Woodley, and then intercept the 282 radial from Compton. So a little bit more complex than what we had previously. We should be able to manage it though. Well, we'll see anyway. Okay, so we should be clear on the approach. We do appear to be indeed. So let's get in there and do this. And switch you guys back to this view. Wouldn't do that if you missed the entire takeoff by watching it in iPod view. That would suck. I will have a look at that link in a minute, Josh. Anything that means I don't have to use fucking EasyDock anymore. Anyway, so here we go. Brakes on. just double check over here. One thing we need to do is take this off-ground bypass. Double check that the schedulers are all set and good and everything like that. Takeoff monitor armed. And 3, 2, 1, now. Here we go.
Airspeed building. $100 knots.
Oh, I did not arm the reheats. Armed them now, though. That was the last thing.
Rotate.
And up we go. Ignore the engine failure. The engine hasn't actually failed. It's just informing me, gear up, that we forgot the reheats. No big deal. You can take off without them, actually. I've done it before. I'm doing sort of pattern training, all that sort of shit.
3, 2, 240 knots.
Noise. Okay. VOR localizer. We'll pitch for 240. And there we just flew through the VOR. What's it? Right. Flight director is barely fucking visible. It's actually quite irritating. It's a little bit difficult to use. Back up at 240 knots now. Autopilot. It's now coming on. We'll do IAS hold. And we'll go... I'm not entirely sure where the fuck... I don't think we're picking up the ADFs at all at the minute, so... What I will do is just go ahead and go... Heading track. Turning on our course of 270. And then we will tune... Compton 114 35 course of 282. Intercept that right about now, actually. And we can start putting in a bit more welly on the throttles. And by a bit more welly, I mean quite a bit more. Banking right now, good stuff. And Alt Acquire, almost forgot. Like I said, fucking, it's like the Dash 8. Just hit Alt Acquire after everything you do. Every time you touch anything on the MCP, hit Alt Acquire afterwards. Otherwise, you'll be ever so slightly boned. And
altitude alert, 1,000 to go.
there we go. Auto throttle's now on for the leveled out bits. Yeah, we can't go supersonic until we are off the coast. In our case, that will be... let's see. Need to get the fucking little flight plan thingy here up. Let's see. SIVA ADEU. EGLL to BIKF. So in our case, I think it's after we hit Merley or Leslie here. I can't remember exactly. I think it's after Kessup on our way to Merley. That's when we get to go Supersonic, if I recall. In fact, if I go ahead and open Active Sky, which I'm using as a bit of an impromptu AFB right now, we will actually... Hang on a minute, what the fuck? Oh, I've got the wrong plan loaded in. RIP, that's not going to help me at all. Load. EGLL BIKF. Open. Cruise altitude. We'll just bump that up to 60,000. Refresh. Map. There we go. Inbound to Compton right now, and since we're inbound to Compton, we can switch that to INS. We can go down here, we can hit waypoint change 0, 1. Insert. And transfer to INS, inertial navigation system. So we're now on the INS as opposed to the VOR radios. And we can now climb up to flight level 280, which is the highest we can go subsonic. So, IAS hold, full throttle, altitude acquire, up we go. But anyway, yeah. So here we are. Here's Compton, and it is, yeah. After Kessup, basically, we can accelerate to supersonic speeds. Basically, that's generally when we'll start, just after Kessup. And as you can see, our entire route looks basically like this. We fly out around the south of Ireland and then up to Iceland that way. And it will still be quicker than just flying there directly like a normal jet. Quite significantly quicker, because this is actually quite a fun route, because landing in Reykjavik itself is pretty cool anyway. The weather up there is usually quite interesting, but also it's a great one to do in Concorde because it cuts down on this sort of I'm bored of doing nothing in the cruise phase of the journey. Only thing, we only have one INS ADEU card update down here, and that is when we're between waypoint 6 and 7. We'll have to load in part 2 of the flight plan, but other than that we should be good. We're just passing 10,000 feet, so all of those extra lights can come off. We can bring the visor up. Normally you'd do that actually a lot sooner, but never mind. We haven't gone hard faster than 250 knots yet, but we can actually do that now. So what we can do is we can hit maximum climb, and what that will do is tell the autopilot, it's like IAS hold, but instead of in holding an indicated airspeed, you're holding the barber pole speed. So what it will do is Concorde will now lessen it, lower its rate of climb, and it will basically accelerate until we reach the barber pole, and it will continue accelerating with the barber pole as we get faster and faster and faster. It will go forward and forward and forward, and it will keep matching the barber pole speed, basically. You'll probably hear the overspeed warning go off a few times. That's pretty normal, because the autopilot, auto throttles, etc. are not particularly responsive. They're probably better in the real plane, or were better in the real plane, but in the sim it sometimes goes like over the limit by 0.1 of a knot, which causes the alarm to briefly go off. But again, that's okay. So there you go, external view. Have we got any of that kick-ass wind condensation? We don't, not today apparently. Maybe when we come in on landing we'll get a bit. But there she is. And alt acquire, almost forgot it again. As you can see, yeah, we're increasing past 370 knots, faster and faster and faster. You quite often in Concorde get clearance to break the normal 250 knots below 10 speed limit, but I played it today as if we hadn't, so I don't think VATSIM controllers are always quite as obliging as the real life ones, so yeah, it's about 4,000 feet per minute we're doing right now. And yeah, there we are, almost at the barber pole pretty much. Our VMO is 400 knots indicated. Now going up at about 5,000 feet per minute. No, we don't turn on the afterburners until we're over the water. But it will happen. Don't worry. Having a better experience with the INS in this thing than you did last night, the TriStar, mate. Yeah, no, bad luck with that thing. Using these things manually, where you're, where you're trying to change the waypoints through by hand. It's just so fraught with potential problems. It really is. That's why I use this plane with the ADEU card system instead of loading it all in by itself. But yeah, so far so good. We won't even have to realign it today, I don't think, by the time we get to Iceland. So that's not a problem. But yeah, I mean, because I started using the... I learned the INS system with X-Plane. The INS, simulation for X-Plane that you can get is okay, but the main issues with it are it only simulates one unit, as opposed to the two you normally get in these planes, or three in Concorde's case. So it decayed at a really, really, really fast rate. So you had to learn how to do the DME updating pretty fast. Otherwise, you just weren't going to get anywhere. But these days, I try not to use it in X-Plane as much as I can because it's just a pain. I mean, I genuinely, as I said last time, I flew the 727 from Gatwick to Manchester. It wasn't even that; it was Heathrow to Manchester, and it came out of alignment halfway to Manchester. I mean, that's a tiny route. It just shouldn't do that, but. Whereas this one will keep us good for pretty much the entire way across the Atlantic, if needs be. And the TriStar one is similarly pretty solid for quite some time. Climb up through 230 to 240, keeping going. Still at our VMO. So, the other thing is I can set the altimeters back to standard. There we go. So, arriving into Reykjavik is going to be interesting. The hardest part of flying this plane, honestly, is calculating when you're supposed to decelerate and descend. Hopefully we'll get that reasonably on the money today. I wouldn't count on it though, to be honest with you. I have a sort of descent calculator add-on in here, but it just never bloody works. It just shows up some sort of error in French for some reason whenever I try to use it. So it's a bit worthless. So I'm just going to have to do a bit of maths, and we all know how my maths tends to go. Very well. And hope for the best. And also, Reykjavik does not offer us anything other than RNAV procedures, which we cannot fly. This aircraft is not rated to fly them. In theory, you could program the INS manually with the coordinates of all the waypoints of the RNAV procedure, and it could sort of fly it, but these INS units are not rated to fly those types of procedure in the real world anyway, so we're not going to be bothering with them. So what I will do is, once we pass whatever the fucking last waypoint was, where is it?
Monkeys to fly better than that.
6220 north, I will hopefully tune the Reykjavik VOR, and we will basically just go straight ahead to shooting like sort of the ILS 11 Yankee approach or something like that, basically. We can't really stealth vector, unfortunately, because we don't have a glass cockpit display here telling me where I am, and I don't have an AFB, so all I've got is Active Sky, which gives me a general idea of where I am. So, as you can see right now, we're just approaching Keflavik. And if I move the range rings over, I can tell you we are about just over 50 miles from Keflavik. But I could tell you that just by looking down here anyway, so. How long is the flight? About an hour and 30-40 minutes, I think. I'm not 100% certain on that.
Monkeys to fly better than that.
I don't have a handy-dandy FMC here telling me the ETA, so It will take as long as it takes, but that will not be very long. There you go, I told you about that. It's it will correct itself, but yeah, the overspeed warning does tend to go off every now and again. Just because for whatever reason, the FS Labs autopilot is not the best at you know, pitching for speed. Although right now, tell you what, auto throttle. This is your problem now, not mine. Enjoy. The autopilot on this thing, I mean, auto throttles even are a bit, see, you can still hear it going off occasionally, are alright. They're not the best. They're a bit like the auto thrust on the back 111 and the Trident. You pretty much really only use it for when you're flying straight and level. You don't use it for climbs or descents. You could, in theory, if you put the auto throttles on and then use the pitch knob to control your vertical speed. However, while in the real plane, that's probably fine. In this one... Oh, I forgot to set the PFDIS, which means we don't get the cool screens in the back, which tell us how fast we're going and stuff. Never mind. Oh, for fuck's sake, Concorde, seriously. Please. Slow the F down. There we go, okay. Yeah, there we are. There we are, very good. Alright. Temperamental beast, this thing, like I said. Anyway. What was I talking about? Genuinely don't remember. In any case, we're approaching Keflavik now, so more or less as soon as this switches from 2 to 3 to 3 to 4, we'll kick in the afterburners and we will be going supersonic. We're almost on the brink of it right now. We're doing Mach decimal 9.9. So we're right on the limit of the speed of sound at the moment. We're really pushing it. Or we already have a ground speed of 510. So at, you know, flight level 280, so this is a real-world flight. Concorde did fly to Iceland, I should point that out. That's where I got the flight information and stuff from in the first place, along with the call sign. Which is Speedbird Concorde 9034, apparently. Not that we have any controllers. The only other thing is, if you're flying to Iceland, technically you need oceanic clearance, which I don't know how to do. So that could be fun. Okay, that's gone 3 to 4. We're sufficiently clear of the coast at this point, I would say, probably. Let's do it. Reheats come on in pairs. Max climb up to flight level 600. We probably won't actually reach flight level 600, but it is our theoretical aiming point. You can do it sometimes, weather permitting and stuff like that, but basically what's more important than vertical speed in Concorde is forward speed. So we'll be accelerating to our maximum forward speed, and we'll basically enter a gentle cruise climb after a point, usually after about flight level 500. And we'll just continue climbing about 50 feet per minute throughout the entire trip. Basically. You can turn off auto throttle 2, you only have auto throttle 1 on when you're flying supersonic. But there you go, out acquire is armed, max climb, INS, auto throttle 1, good to go. And that's what we are going to be doing right up until the decel point. We've already broken the speed down. We're doing Mach 1.1. So we are already going faster than the speed of sound, but we're going to accelerate all the way up to Mach 2. So... as you can see, the afterburners are in fact on. Burning away. The reheats technically is what they're called, but, you know, afterburners, whatever, who cares, same thing at the end of the day. Who used the plane command? Who seriously... do you... who looks at this and wonders what aircraft is that? I am serious. I am fucking serious. I know 3-year-olds who can recognise a photograph of Concorde. Yes, it's clearly a Cessna 172. Up she goes. The other thing we can do is turn off the pressure static heaters. And fuck it. You may all get up and smoke and drink caviar and eat champagne, apparently. What? Okay.
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
So yeah, like I said, when the from to selection down here gets from 6 to 7, that's when we need to load the next and final part of our flight plan. So here's a fun fact. We're going to flight level 600 in theory, because flight level 500 to 600 is above our VSM airspace. And what's kind of funny is that only, I think, only two planes in the Concorde fleet at BA were actually rated for our RVSM airspace. So, yeah, technically we can't fly around at like flight level 300, for example. It's not allowed. Because our altimeters in this thing aren't accurate enough. So basically they worked out a special deal with ATC, you know, with ICAO or whoever's fucking responsible. That was basically, they'd have a special thing in their remarks for the aircraft whenever they file the flight plan with it. And essentially it made it so that they were allowed to accelerate on up to above RVSM airspace, and when they're crossing the Atlantic they don't use North Atlantic tracks either. Concorde, they just make its own route across. In fact, it was required to not use North Atlantic tracks actually, so Active Sky 16 is looking fucking outstanding, as usual. Will I play Cossacks 3? I don't have any plans to, no. Why is that down there? France, I assume. Yeah, it is. You flew an OAC. Nice one. Well, and the reheats are off. There we go. Yeah, OAC is one of the ones that was rated for RVSM airspace, I believe. So there you go. You flew on one of the special Concords, Mungo. Hey, hold the phone. Why are we decelerating? Max climb, motherfuckers. What are you doing? Whatever. Auto throttle out. Maximum throttle. Strange. Very strange. Might honestly put the fucking things on again if I can. It doesn't need them by the looks of things. Maximum power. Never seen it do that before, actually. Start decelerating after the reheats have come off. That does not make any sense. You see what I mean? This plane just refuses to fucking behave itself when it's on a stream. Like, it's like the max climb is just not working for some reason. I don't get it. Whatever, I'll try IAS hold instead. Don't understand. Max climb should make it climb pretty much on the barber pole, but it's just refusing to do it. Maybe the virtual flight engineer thing is messing about with it, I don't know. Difficult to say. This is why, yeah, basically this is why I don't fly this plane very often, because it just does weird shit like this all the time, and you don't know why. There's no explanation for it, whatever. You can do 3 flights in a row without any issues, and then, you know, on the 4th flight, it'll do something like this. Where it's just like, okay, well, yeah, your auto throttle's not going to work, or rather, max climb mode on the AFCS is not going to work. For various reasons. That seems to be okay now, actually. Just a little hiccup back there. Boom! Got our contrails going. Oh, I can do the sonic boom if you like. Go on. There we go. Departure. Wait for it. There we go. Kablooey. Hopefully you heard that. Who knows? Again, our audio setup's a bit of a work in progress, so... We have been flying for 30 minutes. We are now at, well, passing flight level 480. We are doing 1,084 knots over the ground. Mach 1.93. Not quite Mach 2 yet, though. Again. I'm disappointed. Apparently we're going a bit slower today. Maybe because I didn't switch this back to normal. Maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know. I forgot to switch off the brake fans as well. Nice one. Oh, you must be a real winner with the ladies, Corral. Seriously. Is that Ireland I can see down there? I think it is. Waypoint 5 to 6. 6 to 7, as I said, we'll load in the next part of the flight plan. Show the radar, please. I can show you active sky, but this plane doesn't have a radar. By which I mean a navigational display, but that's where we are right now. As you can see, we're just shy of halfway already. How much time did you invest to fly that plane? More than I care to admit. We're definitely talking weeks to get to the point where I am right now, where I can just about fly it without having to resort to checking a list off all the time. Although I probably should still do that, because apparently I keep forgetting stuff. Am I going to do the return flight? Maybe. Maybe. I haven't decided yet. I have all the route cards and stuff ready for a return flight and the fuel planning and stuff, so it can be done. It's just a question of whether or not I can be asked. Because Concorde's a bit of a pain. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome, but it is a pain. It's just the add-on's just so old and cranky. It you know, it barely fucking works. And that makes that waypoint 627. So we load in part 2 of the plan. And before we do that again, we switch all of the CDUs to remote. Load. Job done. Remote's coming off. Good stuff. So, anyway,
Monkeys to fly better than that.
we need to be at about 2,000 feet as we overfly the field. So, let me think. Assuming, I don't know exactly what flight level we're going to be when we get there, but assuming we're say flight level 550 or something like that. What are we currently at? We're at flight level 500 right now, so maybe it'll be a bit less than that. Let's work with 500 as our estimate. So if we do a bit of maths here, we're at flight level 500 and we want to be down at flight level 20 basically. What we need to do is we need to lose 48 flight levels, I think. Yeah, we need to lose 48 flight levels. So if we times 48 by 3, that gives us 144, I think. Close enough. 144 nautical miles to descend at 280 knots at about 2,500 feet per minute. However, we won't be doing that because Concorde can descend significantly faster than your average airliner. So, we're going to half that, which will be about, well, 72 nautical miles. Well, round that up to, say, 80 nautical miles. So that basically means at 80 miles away from the Keflavik VOR, we want to be descending. So, call it 90 nautical miles away. That's when we need to start decelerating. In fact, probably more than that. We'll decelerate to, like, say, about 300 knots, maybe even more, 320 knots, something like that, and then we'll descend at probably a rate of about 6,000 feet per minute or something like that. So that's the general estimate. So if I look up some charts for Keflavik. What is the weather in Keflavik, for one thing? Let's find out.
Bravo, India, Kilo, Foxtrot, airport information. Kilo 2000, Zulu, weather, wind 030 at 24, gusting to 34.
Oh my god.
10, sky condition.
That's some
clouds at 2000,
fascinating
ceiling,
wind.
2000, broken ceiling 2000, overcast, moderate rain, temperature 82.5, QNH 0992. Advise on initial contact. You have information. Kilo, Bravo, India, Kilo, Foxtrot, airport information. Kilo 2000.
Okay,
Zulu,
that is a
wind
fascinating
030.
meta. So the wind is blowing 030 at 24 knots, gusting to 34. It's overcast at 1,200 feet. Fucking hell. And the altimeter is 0992. So, very low pressure. Weather is shocking in Reykjavik right now. I flew there yesterday, doing this exact same route, and it was pretty bad, but it wasn't too bad. It seems to have gotten a lot worse, though. So, yeah, the weather's a bit shocking. We're going to be doing the ILS 01 approach then in that case, and I believe it will be the 01 Yankee because we're not RNAV equipped. So yeah,
Monkeys to fly better.
basically we need to overfly the airport. We're coming in from this direction here, so we'll overfly the airport, we'll overfly the Keflavik VOR, which is 112.0 in the sim, by the way. It's not 122.8. That caught me out yesterday. We'll overfly it. We'll go outbound and then make a procedure turn back in, overflying the VOR again, heading outbound on a radial of 217. And then at 8 miles from Keflavik, we'll make our left turn around here onto the ILS, and that's the general gist of what we'll be doing. Realistically, we have a lot of room to just do whatever the fuck, because if we had ATC, we'd be receiving vectors for the approach, as opposed to us having to try and fly this ILS Yankee procedure, which, to be honest with you, is probably meant for fucking GA planes, not a Concorde. So, well, the approach is probably going to be absolutely rubbish, is what I'm saying, and it's because we don't have a controller to guide us in. So, there you go. Let's see, max 220 knots there. I don't even know if we'll be able to comply with that. I don't know, but we'll see. We shall see what happens. That has a nice cockpit update for the JAR A320. Like, I have to admit that it genuinely looks like the FS Labs cockpit. That does. if not slightly better. But, you know, it's all about them systems. And, well, you know, when the FS Labs comes to P3D, I will have basically no reason to ever fly any other Airbus ever again. If I'm honest. What does FS Labs have that you so require and that which is not in the JAR A320? Well, for one thing, the FS Labs is a simulation of an Airbus A320, and the JAR isn't. I know that's a bit harsh, but you know I have an axe to grind with that fucking plane, so... Houston, we might have a problem here. Yes, sir. We do. Apparently the flight plan didn't load properly. Let's fix that. Remote, remote, remote. I wonder what I did wrong. I'm genuinely not sure. Maybe I didn't press remote before doing this or something. I don't know. Part 2. Load. Let's go direct to Soved. So that would be waypoint 8. So we go waypoint change 0, 8, insert. That's not right, INS. I'm sorry, but that really is not correct. Fucking Andy, I feel your pain right now, mate. Seaver INS, what a pain in the dick. I don't get it. This worked completely yesterday, and now it doesn't. Apparently. Maybe it just doesn't like that waypoint for some reason. Waypoint... okay, let's switch through this. Waypoint 8. The coordinates for waypoint 8 should be... 60... no, hold on. No, yeah, 60118 north. And it's not. Oh dear. That's the card for the return flight. Oh shit, maybe you're right, hold on. That is, then, yeah. It was a mistake leaving it in the fucking folder, because it's easy to get confused. Let's try that again. Yeah, it is, you're right. Let's try that. Load. Good housekeeping is to get rid of all the cards from the folder that you don't need. That way you don't end up loading the wrong one. That's more like it. Okay, here we go. Cross our fingers. Hope for the best. Yeah, I think we're good now. Good thing we have 20 tons of spare fuel. Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, we didn't get that off track anyway, so we should arrive with plenty to spare. I corrected it fairly soon after the error, so... In the meantime, we can tune the Keflavik VOR, which is 112.0. God knows if we'll pick it up yet, probably not. No, we're not. But that's okay. I'm back in the passenger seat for some reason. Hello, everybody. The screens aren't working today because your pilot forgot to put the information in the PFDIS, but fuck it. Hello, P3D Flyer. I can take this stupid hat off now, actually, now you mention it. Ugh, don't need it at the moment. Go away, you silly hat. Yeah, I would appreciate it if we didn't devolve into Les Maymay's fucking cancer chat, if we can possibly help it. The Harambe mentions, if we can keep them down to a minimum of at least, well, at most 3 per stream. I know you're all 12 years old and you think memes are the funniest shit ever, but Widerville with the sick burns. Where did the weather go? Somewhere else. Whatever. Cav okay over the North Atlantic? Suspicious. Very suspicious. Let Active Sky catch up with itself. I don't think it has any cloud data for where we are right now. That might be why. I'm looking at the conditions at aircraft position in Active Sky, and it doesn't have shit for clouds at all. Are we there yet? Hey Cat, welcome aboard. Not yet. Will be soon though. Going to fucking Keflavik in Concorde is like going down the shops. That's where we are right now. Just over halfway. After 48 minutes of flight.
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
Hello everybody, welcome aboard. Good to see you. I've even got the headset to match now. I'm actually turning into Cat Strader. It's just slightly scary. "48 minutes of flight, 98 minutes of pre-flight." Quite possibly. I didn't actually count how long we were pre-flighting for, but I mean, I did all the fuel calculations and the you know, the SEVA card loading and stuff like that, and the filing with VATSIM and everything all beforehand as well, before I even started the stream. So, yeah. 2 reasons I do not fly Concorde terribly often. 1 is because it's a glitchy bastard of a plane that is extremely temperamental, and 2 because it takes absolutely fucking forever to set up. Unless you fly across the Atlantic, you can genuinely spend more time setting up and planning the flight than you do actually in the air. Oh, we do have clouds again, hooray. Active sky is not in fact broken. We have weather. Of a sort. Oh, I feel absolutely shattered. I don't mind saying. Absolutely fucking brain dead. I really do. This last week has been an absolute fucking nightmare. But never mind. If we manage to land this without any real incident over in Keflavik, then all will be forgiven and it won't matter. But that wind really fucking worries me. I might have to auto-land it just because trying to hand fly Concorde in a 34 knot gusting wind doesn't sound like it would be a lot of fun. Even in calm weather, I struggle to fucking land this thing without plomping it down at 500 feet per minute.
Hello everybody, welcome aboard. Good to see your sexy face, Dave. We could be brothers. Cheers. This troll brought to you by Gibbs.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gibbs.
You can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
Would wind worry me in P3D? In any other plane, probably not, but in this one, yeah, because when you fly this thing in on approach, your angle of attack is something like that. It's you're basically falling with style on the entire approach rather than really flying. And if you wobble, you're really flying on a knife edge when it comes to the flight envelope when you're landing this thing. And if you wobble too far over the edge of that envelope, you will just fall out of the sky, quite literally, or flip over and hit the ground like a lawn dart. It's not fun. So yeah, the wind does worry me a little bit. You should fly the conch with Bav. I can't. I'm not a senior captain, and therefore I am not allowed. I can't fly the Comet with Bav either. Because I don't have the requisite 1,000 hours or whatever the fuck it is. In before, well, Dave, you just need to fly the 777 more often then. Yeah, shut up. I know. Is it 500? I thought it was 1,000 to be honest with you, but whatever. To be honest, right, the FS Labs A320 flies scarily like the JAR one does, actually. From what I remember of the JAR A320, it has been a while, but the FS Labs A320 basically feels a lot like the JAR. To fly. Fly-by-wire wise, certainly, it feels a lot like the A330. It's super challenging. I've done some circuits in the FS Labs. I did a really windy landing at Glasgow in it, and yeah, it's a handful. It's a handful. And in a good way, as opposed to the Aerosoft way that makes you feel like you're flying a brick. How much passing Mach number? Mach 2.01 currently. We are officially twice the speed of sound right now. HDR settings. Well, I use PTA, and I use the Realism shader pack, but my actual settings in the sim look like that. Brightness 1.15, bloom all the way to fucking 0, because otherwise you can't read screens at night. And saturation is 1.04. Doesn't feel like Mac 2. Well, what pray tell, in I'm sure your vast experience, Widerville, should Mac 2 feel like? Please enlighten us. Because I'm sure you fly Supersonic all the time in real life. Yeah, Aerosoft still has shared cockpit going for it, and I do shared cockpit every now and again in it, and it is alright. But yeah. Flyby, alright then. Give you another one. We're gonna get the boom. Nope, apparently not. How about this time? Yeah, Mungo is officially the only person in this entire chat who... Boom, there it is. Who knows, in theory anyway, who basically, Mungo is the only person in this chat who has flown on Concorde in real life, so... Yeah. He was admittedly a wee babby at the time. But... Yes. Mungo has been on Concorde in flight. None of you lot have, so... If I'm going to trust anyone, it's probably going to be Mungo. Even if it might be with a pinch of salt. Boom, boom. There we go. Right. 1,171 knots over the ground. Hooray. Now then, let's see... Still not getting anything on DME1, which sucks. Right, I'm gonna say slow down, we'll start slowing down sort of just prior to reaching the, ignore the top of descent in active sky, although to be fair it's not that far off. I think we're gonna start slowing down after we reach 6018 north here, and then we'll start descending actually more or less where it says there, but crucially, we have to include the deceleration as well as the descent, because it takes a fair few track miles to get this thing slowed down from Mach 2. So that is going to be as soon as we go waypoint 9 to waypoint 1, that's when we start slowing down. So we're doing 8 to 9 now. We've got 7 minutes until basically we start slowing down. Finally getting to fly on the A380 next summer. Nice one, man. Assuming you're in... Well, actually, I don't know. Has Daddy given you business class? Has Daddy paid for business class? Or are you going with the cattle? Or are you going in first? I'm assuming you're probably not going in first, but... I don't know. I'd love to fly first class on an A380. Looks amazing. Fucking own little private room thing. You get a shower. A fucking shower. May have paid for first class with it. Fuck you, Mungo. Just fuck you, dude. Fuck you. God damn it, man. Unbelievable. Well, my god, enjoy your fucking 43,000 feet in the air shower. And your caviar. You wanna come with me? Yeah, no, I'll just be back in cattle class with a seat without a fucking window. Going mad because I'm fucking 6 foot whatever, and I'd start getting cramp after long enough. You posh git, Mungo. That's all I can say. You fucking posh git. I really want to punch you right now. I want to do more than that, mate. I want to fucking mug you and take your credit card. For the purposes of the stream, I was of course joking. There you go. There's a disclaimer. I'm not actually intending to mug anybody. Oh my god. Only if he really annoys me. Yep, armed response unit is en route. I'll be getting a knock at the door very shortly. 8 to 9. I think we're ready to decel. We are indeed. Okay, let's do this. That's coming out. Landing monitor thing. Tested. We will decel to about 320 knots to begin with. Out hold. I'll slowly close the throttles to avoid surge. I'm probably going to come in a bit high again. I can't fucking decel and descend properly in the Concorde to save my goddamn life. There's probably an easier way to do this, but I don't know what it is. Doesn't help that we are going into an absolute shitstorm. Never mind. 2 minutes. Hipster glasses are coming on. It means you know it's serious when the hipster glasses come on. Oh, they're fucking filthy again. Jesus Christ. Ugh. Right. Okay, we are now decelling. Quite substantially. 1.5 minutes. We have, of course, the in-flight bucket reversers, if we need them. We may need them, we'll see. Still not getting the, oh yeah, it's going to give us some CG warnings. That's fine. No, we're still supersonic. I guess we're going to keep deselling even more. Try 300 knots, I suppose, or 290 perhaps. We'll just keep going until we're not supersonic. I'll take 300 actually. 3, 2, 1. So, yeah, we're going to overfly Keflavik itself. Then do a procedure turn, back around, then head outbound, radial 217, and then around again onto the ILS in theory. That's the best we can do with no controllers to give us actual vectors. We are descending at crazy feet per minute. Crazy. But as you can see, our actual attitude is still slightly nose up. So effectively right now, like I said, we're falling with style. We're going down like this, with this attitude. Oh, poor Miss Co-Pilot getting harassed about her non-existent Instagram, oh dear. The CG's not where it should be. The fucking virtual flight engineer, whatever his name is supposed to take care of that, but he's slacking a bit back there. Never mind, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We may, you know, like, worst case scenario, we may witness a spectacular Concorde crash on the stream. So stay tuned! That crazy weather combined with the fact that we're pretty close to the fucking envelope right now could end up crashing it spectacularly. Some more flying after this one? Quite possibly, yeah. Don't know if it'll be the return trip, though. That's looking increasingly unlikely, because I do love old Pointy, but I have only a certain amount of tolerance for its bullshit. I'm gonna go to the map screen here and actually... how can I move... Oh, like this, okay. Want to go and check... Oh, shit, hello. Is that Keflavik there? I think it is, yeah. Here you are. Should be 112.0, yeah. Unlike what it says on the chart. Because the scenery's out of date. 112.0 is tuned. Yeah, we're just not getting a DME from it. We're still fairly far away, I guess, so... Camo fireballs when you crash? No. We'll just bounce hilariously on the ground like a big rubber toy. And that'll be pretty much it. No, I have not thought about playing Warframe. I really am not interested. So luckily, even if we don't have the VOR tracked in yet, our final waypoint in our SIVA plan here is Keflavik itself. So when this switches from 9 to 1 to 1 to 2, then the aircraft will be basically pointing us straight at Reykjavik, so we're not going to get lost, hopefully, in that sense at least. We're just basically waiting for the VOR to come alive. We might already have it and just not have the DME, to be honest. No, we don't have it at all. Alright, never mind. Imagine I would look different. You and everyone else, apparently, Hipstick Kiddo. The impressions of what I would look like, though, seem to vary quite a lot, which is interesting. Is that a face cam used by... No, it's not. Look, we've been over this, okay, guys. It's actually a looping GIF that took quite some time to prepare and put together, but it's actually just a looping GIF image. This isn't really a webcam, it's all completely your imagination. Kappa. GIF. Oh, fuck you, cat. It's an acronym of graphical image something or other. Alright? Therefore GIF. I don't care what the creator of it has to say about the matter either before you bring that up, alright? It's GIF. How long to the airport? Dunno! Is the easy answer to that question. But that's where we are. That's where Reykjavik is. We're nearly there. We seem to be descending actually really... Again, I think what I've done this time, you see, is I've actually completely overcompensated and descended way too early. Yesterday I descended way too late. So, oh well. Take the autopilot out. Let's increase our pitch a little bit. Decelerate this to about 280 knots. And there we go. Genuinely easier to just take control and disable the autopilot and re-engage it than it is to fuck about with these pitch switches down here. The click spots for them are just done in the most utterly, you know, but fuck retarded way possible. They're just impossible to use, so can't even assign a keyboard shortcut to it either, so I have, oh my god, I have tried everything to fix my controller issues with Dark Souls Syrinx, trust me. I have tried DS-Fix, I have tried fucking everything. I've tried fucking Joy2Key or whatever it was called. Nothing works, dude. Oh yeah, we've got fucking ages to go. Yeah, I definitely started descending way too early. Never mind. It's unfortunately an inexact science unless you've got a fucking descent calculator that actually works, unfortunately, so... Oh well. Well... Let's do a bit more maths here. Let's level off here. Put the route into sky vector so I can see what the distance between the legs are. Distance between the legs. Ooh, my. Matron. So between 6220 North and the basically the airport itself, it's 139 nautical miles. So if we're now flight level 200, I want to get down to 2000. We are losing 18 flight levels. 18 times 3 is 54 nautical miles. So basically, once we're 54 nautical miles away from Reykjavik again, we can descend again, maintaining about this speed. So we're just going to level off for a while. And you are going to badge me about center of gravity. That's fine. Fuck this, we can go way faster. Let's see. $390. Let's do it. Why not? No reason not to. Since we're staying straight and level for now. Hopefully the fuel calculations should still be okay. This is why I add an extra 20 tons of the fucking stuff. Just to give you a bit of a margin of error. You can also cheat and add more fuel whenever you like anyway, but the center of gravity might get a bit fucked. Lovely view of the clouds though. Hey, oh. Oh, it's reaching 390 knots. That's why the engine spooled down. It doesn't need to accelerate anymore. $509 over the ground at 20,000 feet is fucking impressive. It's not exactly supersonic, but it's, I mean, look, Jesus, we're doing Mach decimal 835 or so at 20,000 feet. That's completely insane. Did they fly this bird to Iceland? Yeah, they did once or twice. To be honest with you, there are a lot of places it went to, because they did round the world tours in this thing and that sort of stuff. So they took it to fucking Bahrain, Sydney, all over the world, Tokyo, you name it. They did indeed do a service from, I think it was Seattle to Honolulu, and then from Honolulu on to Tokyo. So they crossed the Pacific in this thing, in 2 sectors. The round the world tour is something once upon a time I actually wanted to do in this plane, but considering how glitchy it can be sometimes, I'm not sure if that would be a good idea for the sake of my bloody sanity. Oh yeah, Barbados obviously as well. That's a classic one, as Mungo rightly points out. I believe it went to Atlanta as well at one point. So you'd be surprised how small a runway this thing can actually land on. I've landed it at like St. Martin, for example, which I know isn't the smallest runway in the world, but it's not exactly the biggest either. I've quite comfortably landed the Conch in St. Martin with plenty of runway to spare. So, I mean, you know, needless to say, the reverse thrust on this thing is pretty powerful. You like the fuzz? I'm in 2 minds about it, to be honest with you. It needs a trim. That much is for sure. Just how much of a trim, I haven't decided yet. I've had a really shitty week. I've effectively been ill the entire week, and I still am, because this toothache is driving me completely fucking insane. Means I've had absolutely 0 sleep, which means I basically look like shit right now. So I managed to shower this morning, and that's basically it. All the effort I was prepared to make. And we have DME, finally. Excellent, we're 145 miles away apparently, so we're going to be sitting here cruising subsonic for quite some time actually. Yeah, I really messed up the decel and descent. I went way earlier than I thought I needed to. Never mind. Like I said, did this yesterday, and I descended way too late. Even with the bucket reversers in flight, I still didn't quite manage to make it down in time to get, you know, on the descent profile. So I royally overcompensated this time instead. I need to find a better way of calculating decel and descent in this thing, because my back of an envelope sort of, you know, slightly eyeballed way of doing it just doesn't work. Because I followed the recommendation for the route last time, which was start decel and descent at 220 north, which we're just reaching now. So it's just now that previously, like when I did this yesterday, I started decelling and descending. But that ended up with me overhead Reykjavik, still at 20,000 feet, so whatever. We're still going goddamn fast, even if we're not supersonic right now. The main issue is just the fuel burn, because you burn about... how much is it? When you're supersonic in Concorde, you burn 27 tons per 1,000 nautical miles. Whereas when you're subsonic, you burn 40 tons per 1,000 nautical miles. So the longer you're subsonic for, the more fuel you use up. I always look like shit, though I do. This is true, but even more so than usual. Like, normally, at least I make an effort. Did they land at St. Martin? I don't believe so. I just went there on a random one-off flight with Josh Gibbs and the crew. One evening. Read the copy hold instructions. Yeah. It is quite capable of flying subsonically, obviously, but you just burn a lot more fuel while you're doing it. How much fuel do we have left at the moment? We have 25 tons left. With 118 miles to go. We should be alright, but we won't have much of a reserve left after we've landed. That might be for the best, though, honestly. The lighter you can get this thing for landing, the better, because that means you have less chance of stalling and dropping out of the sky on final approach. So... I have a pilot's guide to Iceland up here, by the way, from Fat Sim Scandinavia.
You can teach.
I was briefly reading through it
Monkeys to fly better than that.
in case Shanwick Oceanic fucking came online or something and I had to request Oceanic clearance, but doesn't look like we'll need it for now. "98 miles. About 60 miles to go, I'll start us descending again." Nice glasses. They're alright. They were pretty cheap. That's the only reason I have them. Can you believe what they charge for glasses these days? It's crazy. I just need them to not look like I'm a granddad and allow me to see a little bit better when I'm feeling tired. That's all I require from glasses, and yet the price tags on these things are fucking scary. Yeah, I had the same issues on Dark Souls 1 and 2, and I haven't bothered with 3 because I'm not going to waste my money on it if it's not going to work. I suspect it would not, though. I have Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne on my PS4, as I've said before, and I'm quite happy to just play them on there instead, so... I have the camera wear the tracker. I will do when we actually need to wear it. I did for the departure, so... Let's actually get on this VOR itself now, I think. As opposed to tracking straight to the airport via the INS instead. Yeah. Silly views. Oh, right. 76 miles. Also want to slow down to about 280 knots or so as well. 280, 290. We'll go with 290. It is basically the definition of sexy plane, yeah. Cockpit is anything but sexy, on the other hand, but the exterior is lovely. Oh, I did forget actually to re-engage the press static heaters on our way in here. As we went Transonic earlier. What? How can you genuinely... I know you're a bit odd in the head, Mungo, but how can you genuinely argue that the 777 is prettier than Concorde? I mean... No. No. I'm sorry, but no. Frankly, I'm not even sure something designed by computers is even allowed to fucking qualify as being pretty in the first place, but... 777's just a big fat sex toy with wings. I mean, they're very nice wings. But... nah. The 777 is the Kate Upton of aircraft, more like the fucking Susan Boyle, mate. It's literally like if you took Susan Boyle and just put the most amazing pair of tits in the universe on her. That's the 777. The tits are fantastic, but it's still Susan Boyle they're attached to, so... Through an EasyJet Concorde delivery. I can't... hold on. I want to find that if it exists. Oh, Google's not turning up anything. Huh. That would have been funny, though. Oh, descending time, slowing down time, all the rest of it time. You'll know how quickly this thing can actually decel if it wants to. In spite of how fucking sleek it looks, it's actually a draggy bastard. Subsonic, anyway. I'm sorry, Cole. Throttle spooled themselves up for some reason. Silly things. Now we're descending. Yes, I know, I get it. CG, shifting, whatever. Get on with it, flight engineer. This is your job, not mine. Should we put out some bucket reverses just for shits and giggles? Alright. Why not? Arm them on there. There we go. Gives us a bit more descent oomph. And looks pretty funny to boot. Look at that. In-flight idle reverse. Should also start the chrono for those. Can I use them for a maximum of, I think, 3 minutes? So yoke needs to get out of the way as well. Into the soup. The weather's still shocking.
Bravo, India, Kilo, Foxtrot, airport information, Papa 2100, Zulu, weather, wind 030, at 18, visibility 10, sky condition 2000, scattered ceiling 2800, broken ceiling 4000, overcast, moderate rain, temperature 7, dew point 5, QNH 0991, advise on initial contact with information, Papa. Bravo, India, Kilo, Foxtrot.
Okay, so the weather is nowhere near as shocking as it was earlier. That's good news. 18 knots headwind, more or less, which is fine, as opposed to the gusting 34 from earlier, and it's no longer overcast, apparently. Still mega low pressure, though. There we go. And it is raining, so... Okay. Approaching 10,000 feet. Autopilot's coming out. I'm going to pitch this up a little bit just to lose some speed. I can see land down there. And if it'll stop lagging, the autopilot one can go on. And in-flight reverse can come off. There we go. Right, we'll arm approach on there. Yep, we're in the shit now. 9 miles. We might be a little touch high. Not necessarily a problem though. We're going to overfly the VOR anyway, and then we're going to make that procedure turn, as I said, followed by a second procedure turn onto the ILS. The ILS, by the way, is 111.3. Apparently. Let's hope this is correct with the scenery, but 111.3 for the ILS, and the course 015 degrees. So. Got rain outside. I'm going to do heading hold as opposed to VOR lock so it doesn't keep chasing the needle constantly. Oh, you can just see it out the window there. Hello, Keflavik. How are you doing? Fucking blurry textures though. Oh, P3D, you so wonderful with your shitty blurry ground textures everywhere. You think that's bad? You should see FSX.
You can teach monkeys to fly better than
Alright.
that.
My cheesy track IR hat has to come on now, more or less. Yeah, that's a new one. Whatever it was, it didn't stick around for long.
Altitude alert, 1,000 to go.
Radio altimeters are
You
active.
can teach monkeys to fly better than that.
Okay, we're now outbound from the VOR, 4.3 miles at about 7 or so. We'll turn around. Gotta give ourselves enough room for the turn, so. I'm also going to decrease our speed to about
Monkeys to fly better than that.
220 knots, I want to say. Whoa, how old the phone? Forgot to catch the auto throttle there. No worries, we're okay. Having trouble trying to get 1800 feet right now, apparently. Okay, that's probably good. Let's turn it around. We're maintaining about 215 knots. Again, the auto throttle is not the best in the world, unfortunately. Visor can come down, nose can go down to 5 degrees. We get a better view out the window. Okay, localizer's armed. Track heading is engaged. Out hold is engaged. We're doing 220 knots, which is the maximum on the procedure. And we're flying back in towards roughly the airfield. And we'll make a right turn onto this outbound course pretty shortly. Windscreen wipers, hooray! With PMDG quality animations, i.e. about 10 frames a second. It should start moving any second now. Needle. Could you possibly start moving? That would be really helpful. That's where we're landing, down there. Basically, the plan is to use max runway length and then vacate just left at the end, and that'll take us straight to the terminal. So, the layout of Keflavik's kind of funny, really, because it's less like an airport and more like a Air Force base. Here we go, finally grabbing the radial. Once we're established on it, I'll do heading hold. Come on, wings level. Heading hold. Now 111.3. Course 015 degrees. Round and round we go. Oh, you can see the wing condensation, which is pretty fucking badass. Look at that. This is the phase of the flight where Concorde starts to look really goofy because it's just not designed to fly at these low speeds. Sincerely hoping I don't fly through the localizer here. That would not be good. We wouldn't have much time to correct it, so... VOR lock is armed. Lower our speed to 190 knots. Missed approach altitude is 3,000 feet. So we'll set that in there. Don't know how much fuel we have left for a missed approach, but whatever. There you are. We'll glide. And as you can see, there is the runway. Slow down to about 165 knots. That's basically our approach speed, 165 knots. You approach really, really goddamn fast in Concorde. Because it has a very high stall speed, as you can imagine. The nose is going to go down to 10 degrees. I'm not entirely sure, if I'm honest with you, what the... Shut up! Altitude horn, or whatever it is, needs to shut the fuck up. Whatever, I guess we're dealing with a constant sort of like, do not adjust your set. Aliens have just invaded planet Earth tone. Gear can come down. Maybe it's this thing here. No, don't know what it is. Oh, it finally shut up. Nice one. Okay.
1,000 feet radio.
I don't know what that is. I genuinely have no idea. Okay, we're on the glide slope. Now it's just a case of following it down and then at the correct moment getting rid of all the automatics. I know everyone's yelling gear, gear, gear as if I've actually fucking forgotten it.
$500 feet.
You really do not need to get the gear out at like fucking 10 miles away.
400 feet.
The less drag we've got to deal with, the better.
300 feet.
Alert high, Can 2, 100 to go.
200 feet.
Decide.
100
Landing.
feet. 50. 40.
What the fuck happened there? Rip. Alright. Deploy the reverses, I guess. What the fuck was that? Okay. Yeah, I guess it was a vector issue. Jesus.
100 knots. $75 knots.
Fucking FS Labs Concorde, everybody. The greatest add-on ever. Yeah, we got fucking flickering ground textures and all sorts of shit here. I don't get it. This was fine when I landed here yesterday. Admittedly, I landed on runway 11 and not this one, but fuck my life.
50. 40.
We're definitely slower than 40 knots, mate. Hate to break it to you, but... Okay, take the turn nice and wide, because the nose wheel is about a mile behind us. I know, tell me about it, man. Shortchanged in the fucking extreme. I'm bloody disappointed. That was one of the best approaches I've fucking done in this plane, and then, boom, suddenly teleported us onto the runway. GG. Oh well. Yeah, we're doing less than 20 knots, my friend. Well, I think we might be anyway, I'm not sure. Right, we can kill engines 2 and 3 for the taxi. Can hit the master inhibit to make it shut the fuck up. That said, silence. And we're going to park over on the end there on the right. I've already checked that that parking space will actually fit our massive nose. His co-pilot with the lasso, wow. Okay. Hello, Dave. In we come. Stand 1, right next to the international terminal. And since we don't have a marshaller, because GSX just doesn't even bother spawning one in when you're using Concorde, I'm going to cheat like a champion. Oh, they will do. These are static jetways as well, by the way, so no luck there. Alright. There you go. More or less sorted. What we need to do is kiss goodbye to these engines. Request ground power. Get ground power in. Obviously, like I said, no APU on the Concorde, so you go from engines off to ground power connected. And there you have it, pretty much. Kill the generators as well. And the bleeds. Conditioner valves. Plane, thank you. Hydraulics. We I can just put on the brake fans. We didn't use much brake, though, to be honest with you. We just sort of used the reversers for the entire decel. We were planning to use it full length anyway, so just to make the taxi shorter. We weren't really in any rush to slow down. We can turn off the INS so it's not running on the battery or anything. Fantastic. Yep, I know, Concorde, you don't like me turning things off. You can stop panicking, it's fine. Come on. No, you little... That one, there. There we go. And you may now get up and do whatever. Actually, we'll leave the no smoking on. Heaters can all come off as well. Is that everything? Probably, more or less, anyway. About as much that matters. There you go. I'll get GSX to deboard us. Means we can refresh the sound so the sound isn't glitched out. And open up front left and the cargo. And inhibit again. So it doesn't yell at us for having doors open and stuff like that. And then there you go. Welcome to Reykjavik. Or Keflavik Airport, that is, anyway, specifically. Thank you for flying Concorde. Right, good night, man. Toodles! So there you go, we went from... How long was that then? From takeoff to gate. 2 hours and 3 minutes. From Heathrow to Keflavik. Not bad. They normally put the nose up on stand. I don't believe so, no. Last time I asked someone about this who was sort of vaguely in the know, said they actually just leave it down at pretty much all times on the ground, even though the cold and dark panel state for this thing loads it up with the nose raised, and you can't lower it until you've got hydraulic pressure, so... What am I looking for? Anti-collision light, there we go. I may be wrong about that, but I'm just saying what I was told, basically. I could turn on the ground hydraulics and raise it if it really bothers people that much, but There's actually another cargo bay up here that GSX obviously doesn't interact with because it's in such a weird position, but another little one here as well. Yeah, it's probably something like that, Memos. It's probably just a weather type thing, conditional, whatever. Under whatever conditions it was, they'd leave it up or down, kind of like the flaps on other aircraft. It's just not, no, it's just not necessarily the end of the stream at all. I won't be flying Concorde back though, because I'm not sure I have the patience, but maybe next time. Yeah. Pablo likes to move his merchandise in style. Some glitchy approach lights. Yeah, so that was pretty good, actually, in all. We did the whole bonkers procedure pretty much spot on, which was nice. Just unfortunately completely and utterly shortchanged by whatever that was, and when we were approaching the land, I don't know, mesh error, something like that, but one second we were like 20 feet radio, and then we were on the runway in the touchdown zone with the nose gear down and everything. Just fucking, I don't know what that was. I have no idea. Genuinely, it was not on purpose. I can promise you that, because that was shaping up to be a genuinely really good landing. I'm a bit gutted that I was robbed of it, but oh well. Alright, Dave, see you, man. Flight attendant doing flight attendant things. There you go. Anyway, the weather's shocking, obviously, because it's Iceland, and why wouldn't it be, but... yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I think we'll put this one on YouTube for sure. But I think you can appreciate, considering I did most of the planning off-screen prior to even starting the stream, that flying this thing is a bit of a pain sometimes. And that's why I don't tend to fly very often. What are you doing, bus? What are you doing? Also, my toothache has reached critical fucking mass at the minute, and I need to go find some painkillers anyway, so... bye. Bye, bus. I don't know where you're off to. That's not where you deboard the passengers, man. Just saying. Anyway. Yeah, Narcos Season 2. I've already watched all of it. It's fucking awesome. Anyway, okay, yeah, that's break time, folks. When we get back, I don't actually know what we'll be doing. I don't really have a clue. We have a few options, but yeah, I don't know exactly what we'll be doing yet. We'll see. I might just decide to call a halt to the stream. I don't fucking know, to be honest with you. Anyway. Alright, guys. Back in a few.